Hello there, I am Metagross Freak, and today we're taking a look at Transformers, Power of the Primes, Leader Class, Rodimus Prime, or at least the evolution figure of Hot Rod into Rodimus Prime. This is one of technically like 3 molds that is going to be for the Power of the Primes line. It's featuring the evolution gimmick. We have, of course, Optimus, we have Rodimus Prime, Rodimus Unicronus, who's literally just a black and purple repaint, and the Optimal Optimus, aka Optimus Primal. Yeah, so I was really on the fence about this figure because, honestly, seeing pictures of it, I wasn't very convinced with the color scheme. However, seeing some reviews, mainly by Bolt Matrix, Emgo, and Peel, it won me over a little bit. I was like, okay, it's not as bad as it looks in the pictures. And then seeing it in the store, I was like, okay, let me think about it a little bit. Because when I saw it in the store, I'm like, you know what? It's not as bad as it looks even on the screen. So I gave it like 4 weeks. I've been thinking about it for like a month, whether I wanted to buy this. And I finally decided yes. You can see we got him currently in his super robot mode, the leader class mode. You've got the matrix of leadership. We have the combined rifle there. Of course, it looks like, I think that's Hot Rod on the front. Oh, sorry, that's Rodimus. And we have Hot Rod on the side. We have showing off, and then the bio up here reads, when the bold Autobot Hot Rod becomes the bearer of the Matrix of Leadership, he evolves into the courageous leader, Rodimus Prime. So yeah, I mean, I want the Optimus one, but I can't find the Optimus one in my town. First impressions, not great. First off, there's no weapon storage, so if Rodimus isn't holding his gun in his hand, you have no place to put it. That alone is kind of a letdown. It looks like you may be able to store it in vehicle mode, or actually it looks like you can store it in vehicle mode, but yeah, this no weapon storage, that's already off to a bad start. He also, because his hands are closed, you can't actually hold the Matrix. As you can see, I just have it kind of balancing on top of his fists, and you know, if I try to move him, he drops it. It was really hard. This is literally the only pose I could get where he'd hold it, because if I had the fists rotating upward, I couldn't get the arms close enough. And as you can see, the knees are really weak, which, considering this is a top-heavy, not only a top-heavy figure, but a leader class figure, is not a good sign. The knees are weak, and the heels aren't really stiff. The pins on the heels aren't stiff. So even if you lean it back a little bit, you can see he instantly flops over. This doesn't bode well. That being said, visually, having him, I mean, okay, yeah, I admit the backpack is a little unwieldy. Visually, he looks really nice, but you have to put him in you can't put him in a variety of poses, because he'll just fall over. Gun has some nice molding. They split like that. This one is, I guess, this one is the picture is the, excuse me. This is the gun shown in the Hot Rod picture. You can see he's got this gun in his hand, and then when he evolves into Rodimus, I guess you could give him both guns, but when he evolves into Rodimus, they combine into the rifle, and of course he can wield the rifle. The articulation is weird. He's not, I don't know. If you're thinking about getting this for your kid, don't. It's a toy for collectors. It's a display piece, I'd say, for collectors, not really a kid's toy. Of course, the Matrix piece can pop out, so you can put in a Prime Master or Titan Master if you want. It's supposed to plug into the chest, but I haven't yet figured out how to open it up. Because I went to go open it up and like the head got in the way. Oh, okay, you have to like literally just unsnap it, and you can see his Hot Rod hands here. If you fold it up, then you can see there's room for the Matrix. Literally, the Matrix is only stored on the Rodimus half, And having to open up the torso like this to access the Matrix is ridiculous, considering the Optimus is just like opening a window. Obviously, the good engineering went into the Optimus one. This one is kind of... It looks like how he looked in the cartoon, but I would not say it's screen accurate. I do like the Rodimus head. The head sculpt looks good. It gives him kind of an aged appearance. And I do like the fire decal, and you know, the two different shades of red. It looked a lot more like he had like a pink red and like a regular red, and I see now it's more like he has a kind of a darker red, and then more of a like up, you can see up in the chest and the shoulder bits, and then the arms, the heels, and the backpack are more of a burgundy. And I actually don't mind that coloration. The orange is kind of nice. The yellow is kind of nice, but I really wish it didn't have this weight issue. The weight issue is it's a problem. It is an issue. And I guess for comparison, since this is the same continuity, it's the Primes trilogy. Since we have Power of the Primes, Rodimus Prime, here is Power of the Primes. Titans Return Hot Rod. You can see he goes up to like his waist, and when we convert this into Hot Rod, we will get to see mini Hot Rod next to this Hot Rod. But also for comparison, just because it's topical, here is another character who has a smaller robot who plugs into the chest to form a head and is also kind of burgundy and yellow. Here we have Transformers Armada Overload. I know I haven't shown this figure before, at least I don't think I have, but you can see he's a Supercon. He's from Transformers Armada, the class called Supercon, which is, I don't remember what the equivalent would be, but he's like halfway between Voyager and he's like halfway between a Voyager and a leader class. Yeah, he's a big boy. He's a big boy, and this particular size class hasn't been released in a while. At least they don't really make robots this size anymore. Then, of course, here he is with one of the more recent robot videos I did. Voyager class Alita 1. You can see she is definitely a fair bit shorter. And then just because I need to compare it to the other Titans, the other leader class that I have, excuse me. Here he is next to Leader Soundwave. Leader Soundwave is about the same size. And still to this day remains one of my favorite figures. This iteration of Soundwave. And then, just for fun, because we're looking at big figures, here he is next to Energon Supreme class, Mega Supreme. Yeah. He goes up to, like, Omega Supreme's nipples. Ooh, he's tall. Don't worry, I'm keeping Omega Supreme off screen for pretty much the rest of the show. But yeah, I mean, for a big robot, I'm not too impressed. Soundwave doesn't have the weapon storage issue. He doesn't have the loose knee joints. He doesn't have what looks to be a misassembly of his torso. So I'm not too impressed right now. I mean, if I could get him in a stable pose, he'll be fine. And then just because the card, here he is with. Here he is. The card is Alchemist Prime. We have Rodimus Alchemist alters enemy systems to overheat their power core, aka he gives you heat stroke. He gives you robot heat stroke. And then we have instructions. So I'm going to convert this into Hot Rod. I saved this one for last, but I'm doing the Hot Rod robot for last. I actually filmed these out of order. This I like. I mean, he has decent articulation at best, but this I like. The backpack is a little long, but this is a Hot Rod. And honestly, when I bought the Titans Return Hot Rod, before I realized it had these hip issues, this is what I bought. This is what I expected. And honestly, I actually really like this one. This little Hot Rod, this was worth the buy. I mean, this was worth buying. I would have bought this separately. I would not have. I mean, if they had sold just this as a deluxe, I would have bought this. This guy, he's okay. The Titan's Return figure was always okay. It wasn't my favorite. I prefer Chrome Dome so much more over him. He's an okay mold. But yeah, I mean, this is actually really nice. The detail on the chest is good. The colors are good. The posability is good. I like the gun. You can give him the other gun too if you want. I mean, I'm not going to be playing with him a lot. I'm going to be having him on a shelf looking cool. But it's good. And, I mean, he can't hold the Matrix either, unfortunately. But it's just because his fists basically aren't even fists. They're basically just peg holes. But, I mean, this is good. I like this. This was good. I wish they had sold this separately. Then, I guess for another comparison, here he is with Voyager Class Elita 1. It's good. It's good. This version I like. The big version will take some getting used to. I'll play with it some more and see if I can change my own opinion. Here is Hot Rod in his vehicle mode, Mini Hot Rod. I honestly like this. I think it has that kind of futuristic look. It's kind of chunky. Unfortunately, the cockpit or the what's it called? This part. The windshield, the windscreen doesn't open, which is unfortunate. Mine looks like it's kind of at a weird angle, like it should be able to open, but you shouldn't open it because if you do, well, it doesn't actually work. If you try to open it, instead you end up just kind of splitting the robot in half, and look, there's Rodimus's head. So I'm wondering if maybe mine is misassembled or something. Multiple times while transforming it from the leader class robot into the combined vehicle, there were some clicks, and clicking is good, but there were also some snaps, and I couldn't see any cracks, but what sounded like cracking sounds, and that worried me. Worries me about the structural integrity of the figure. And then here he is next to Titan's Return, Hot Rod. You can definitely see a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, a little bit bulkier. I mean, this is obviously more of a sports car. This looks more of like a futuristic car. I do like this, though, considering that the deluxe class has weapon storage. You can store weapons. He has double weapon storage. He can either store weapons on the roof to be like an action master, or he can store weapons on the side. And this is a deluxe class. This figure has no weapon storage at all, which is kind of annoying. And then just to get the combined form of the two, you literally have to take the pipe bits and like separate them out. I'm just gonna open them up like gull-wing doors for the time being. I like this figure, but it feels like it was a lot of good ideas that were poorly engineered. There we go. That should work better, hopefully. Yeah, it feels like a bunch of good ideas that were poorly engineered. Because yeah, that's just the feeling I'm getting, is that something wrong is going to happen. Also, this panel does not peg in like it shows in the picture, but I'm going to try to kind of wiggle this in here. This is bizarre. Yeah, I'm having trouble getting mine to plug in properly because the chevron for Rodimus isn't a stable connection point, which means I'm basically having to force a non-stiff peg into a stiff hole, hoping that it fits and that it will be balanced enough stay in the socket, and then I have to kind of hold it there long enough to kind of piece everything together. I can pretty much tell you that, yeah, the thing I said before where I wouldn't recommend this for kids, definitely would not recommend this for kids. If you, I mean, no offense, if you're buying this for your kids, you're foolish. This is definitely not a child's toy. I'm having issues with it. Pretend I did it correctly. I'm really close to doing it. The problem is just the connections up here aren't connecting properly, the connection there and there aren't connecting properly, but boom. Yeah, I spent like 7 minutes trying to get these two halves connected, and it's very loose. I probably will drop it. Anyway, this is the combined Rodimus. He has 6 wheels. Based on the way it's connecting, it doesn't look like the back wheels of the car roll. It looks like it's primarily these wheels and like the torso of Hot Rod just like dragging. Honestly, not really happy about that. And then it doesn't really look great from the top here because of how it connects together. I don't know. It just I'm disappointed with it. Here's Titan's Return Hot Rod to compare. This is a good evolution, but from Deluxe to Leader, I do like this. I wish this one could work, and it looks like there's like a little tab here, so theoretically it could, but it doesn't attach the same way. Here he is also compared with Overload in his vehicle mode, and you can see he's roughly the same size as Rodimus, so Armada was weird. They had big vehicles with just bricky robots. You have visible hand syndrome from the front of the car. Like, these panels don't fold over the hands. Hey, so I'm back in my like vanity area for a final review. This is actually my 3rd time doing this because my first wrap-up was when I was downstairs. My second wrap-up I did up here, but I didn't like the way it went, so I decided to do a remake of my remake, just so I can give kind of a good comprehensive opinion piece. I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to try to keep it short. My final review of this figure is that it's decent. Hot Rod and his vehicle form are both phenomenal. I really wish they had just sold Hot Rod separately. And the transformation from Hot Rod into his vehicle is okay, though I don't like the way the legs attach to the backpack, though that seems to be a common sentiment among a lot of Transformer YouTubers. That they don't like the way that the legs and backpack connect for Hot Rod. The figure you're currently seeing in front of you, I think, looks awesome, and this is the pose I currently have him in on my shelf because, to me, this particular pose looks relatively heroic. It kind of looks like he's standing on like the edge of a cliff or something, overseeing a battlefield. I think visually he looks really good. The color separation between the kind of more pinkish red and the more burgundy red isn't as striking as it looked in the original pictures. It looks a lot better in person, trust me. I think visually, yes, it's really cool, and it'll be a really cool piece if you're just planning on having this sitting on a shelf. However, as a toy, I would not recommend Rodimus Prime for a toy. If you have a kid, or if you have maybe a younger sibling who likes Transformers, I can't recommend getting this for them because the figure has some consistency issues. There are joints that are really stiff, like the shoulders. Meanwhile, the inner thigh pieces and Hot Rod's inner thighs, and then Rodimus's knees are all really loose. It also has balance issues because even though Rodimus has sizable heels, The combination of the combination of looser ankles and the almost floppy knees I was showing add up to being that Rodimus has a hard time balancing, and so you basically kind of have to spread his legs a little bit in order to get him to be in a balanced pose. The backpack isn't too heavy, but it's just big, and that can be a downside too. The fact that we have a character without weapon storage is so rare in Transformers that that's why it's a standout to me. I think so. Yeah, I'd say if you're going to buy this, buy it. If you're going to buy this, you should be a collector of Transformers. If you're gonna, don't get it for a child. Because even though the box says 8+, remember, I'm 24. I've been playing with Transformers and collecting Transformers for about 16 years, because that's when I started, when I was about 8. And even I had some trouble with this. So I would recommend that if you're going to get this for an adult collector rather than someone younger. If you do get it for someone younger, just give them the Hot Rod part, because honestly, they'll still think it's really cool. Hot Rod is a great figure. The Rodimus figure, again, while it looks good on a shelf, I wouldn't recommend as a plaything. And the combined Winnebago mode, first off, kids nowadays don't know what a Winnebago is. Most adults don't even know what a Winnebago is unless they've seen one. So thank you for slogging through this review with me. Until next time, I've been Metagross Freak, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.